Welcome to Rose Card Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Anime Fruits Basket, which is one of my personal favorites, so I will try and not be biased, but just kind of be aware that that's there. However, I think it is very high quality anime, and we've given it a rating, as it were, of like 5 out of 5. Just that's not me saying, I like this, so I'm going to give it like the top rating. I think it actually deserves this rating. So, yeah. Before I get into the review any further, we're going to talk about the Chinese Zodiac, because that is something that is very important in this anime. And I'm sure you all know what the Chinese Zodiac is. It's the kind of the 12-year calendar, which each year is represented by an animal. There's like characteristics, and if you're born like in a certain year, then you're like represented by this animal, and it means you're going to be like this. It's kind of like our zodiac system with like the stars and stuff in that way. However, there's an animal in this anime that is not quite represented by the Chinese Zodiac, and that is the cat. And the story of the Chinese Zodiac is that God was going to host a banquet for all the animals in the world, and everyone was invited, and the rat went home and he told the cat about this great news, except he told him that the banquet was going to be the next night and not that previous night when the banquet was actually going to be held. And so that night the cat went to sleep and he dreamt of the banquet and about all the fun he would have the next day. But unbeknownst to him, the banquet went on, and so kind of the Chinese Zodiac was formed. But since the cat never got to the banquet, he wasn't part of the Chinese Zodiac, and so he was split apart. And in this anime, there are a family who is cursed by the Chinese Zodiac, and when they're stressed or hugged by a member of the opposite sex, then they turn into the animal that they correspond with. And this seems like it's all kind of fun, but it causes many problems if you have a crush on somebody who is not part of this exclusive circle. Then it's kind of awkward because you can't really have a relationship with them. As if they find out, then the upper heads of the family might have them killed or, you know, have their memory erased. And so it's a problem. And your main character, Toru, in this story, comes to live with 3 of the members of the Chinese Zodiac. They're all guys, and that sounds somewhat sketchy, but I promise you it's not. So she kind of sets it upon herself to help them clear the curse. Characters, yay! Toru is a bit of an airhead. She is sweet and kind and compassionate and kind of fuzzy, but she's kind of a ditz. Let's be honest. And like I said, she lives in the same house with Yuki, who is the rat, Kyo, who is the cat, and Shigure, who is the dog. And Yuki and Kyo are both in her class at school. And Yuki is kind of seen to be like the prince of the school. He's very good looking and everyone admires him. And Kyo is kind of the rebel of the family. He and Yuki have like a bad relationship, and so they fight constantly, kind of like cat and mouse. And Kyo's temper is easily riled, and so that does not help his relationship with Yuki, as if Yuki does one little thing to anger him, Kyo will just kind of go off the clock, and yeah. And then Shigure is kind of like the crazy uncle. He's a novelist and probably the least mature in the household. And that kind of rounds out their whole little family. And there's lots of other Zodiac members that you get to meet. It's kind of the secondary point of the whole anime, is that Toro is meeting all these different members of the Zodiac and getting to know them. And there's like at least 12 of them, plus other side supporting characters that we're not going to get into for time's sake. However, the plot is closest to a slice of life anime, so it's pretty episodic. And there is, however, an overarching plot, so that helps. Unfortunately, the plot does not cover the entirety of the manga, and this anime was kind of made originally to be a teaser for the manga a little bit to get you to want to read the manga, which I highly recommend. The manga is most of the reason why I like this anime so much. And so just letting you know that it will cut off. There will be some kind of a conclusion, but it won't be quite the conclusion you may be looking for. Because this anime is so lighthearted, it has a lot of humor, and there's a wide variety of humor, so if you like slapstick or puns, or naming off all the other kinds of humor that I know that I can't remember right now, you're sure to find something to laugh at. The soundtrack for Fruits Basket is kind of a happy and relaxed feel, which some people might find annoying. and I get that, that's okay, especially the theme song, but I think it goes well with like the whole mood of the anime. This anime came out in the early 2000s, so while it's not up to today's standards, it does get the job done. So it's not going to be like really cool, cutting edge animation. It'll just kind of be something that you can watch and go back to several times, and it still works. And like I mentioned before, there is a manga, and it ran from about 1998 to the year 2000, so it is completed. And actually, there is kind of a spin-off manga that has started called Fruits Basket, another that is set later on in the timeline. A couple last comments before I end this out. There are no fillers in this anime. It's about 26 episodes. Like I said, it doesn't cover the full of the manga's content, but it gets maybe about halfway or a little bit more or less than that done. So, I mean, it covers a fair amount. And also, you can watch this anime on Hulu or Funimation's homepage. So I hope you've enjoyed this review, and we will have a written version of this posted on our blog, which we will include the link to somewhere on this page. And yeah,